Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Dr. Michael Smith, Sr. This is a generic mindset training. You see on your screen, it says at the top here, Vital. That's just a company that I represent, a national sales executive with Vital. But this is generic mindset training regardless of whatever company you're involved with, whether it's direct sale, referral-based marketing, a retail store, or network marketing, multi-level marketing. We want to share something with you that's going to help you with your life. A lot of time people get into business and they want to do something in business, but they don't know where to start. They think it's all about just marketing. They think it's all about just the products and their services, but that's actually not true. It all begins with yourself. It begins with yourself. It begins with your mindset. Just a little bit about my background. I'll be 48 years of age this year in a few months. I come from the rural South, from Louisiana. I currently live and reside in Washington State, near Seattle, Washington. In my years of growing up, I did not have a silver spoon in my mouth. Left Louisiana, came to Washington State to attend college, going to the University of Washington, and I was one of those people that was had a big head, wanted to make a lot of money, but had desires to do things on their own. Got into college, dropped out of college because for some reason I thought I could make more money instead of wasting 4 years, and stopped that and got into the traditional work field. And getting into the traditional work field, you get into that grind. Got into that grind, went back to school after a few years of in that grind. Got a certificate degree for computer programming. Started working with a corporation by the name of the Bon Marché, now known as Macy's. Was working with them for a number of years, for about 12 years or so. And during that whole process, I started to, around about the age of 20, I got introduced to network marketing, or multi-level marketing. I never seen anything like that in my entire life. I think I was around about 21, close to 21, and it totally blew my mind. The concept and the marketing behind it totally blew my mind. I thought to myself, why in the world why aren't everyone doing this type of marketing? It just makes sense. So in doing that, got involved with a company by the name of A.L. Williams. Did pretty good there. Learned some things about business. Learned some things about being a professional. Left that business. Then started to spend more time with family. I'm a minister as well in this in particular city that I reside in. I'm a local community pastor at this particular point in my life right now. But in all of that going on, I got that bug. I got that entrepreneurship bug. And later on in life, started my own businesses. Also owned and operated my own insurance agency for about 7+ years because I got hooked on residual income. Had my ups and downs, successes and failures in business and in network marketing. But one thing I've always learned is you have to have a drive. You have to have a motivating factor. As you see there on the screen, it says your attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Now, one thing about myself that people always notice in my pursuit, when I latched onto something, when I believed in something, I went for it. Because if I believe in something, I go for it all out. To me, it was kind of like, I believe in, my Heavenly Father. I believe in Christ. And to me, it's no different than that in the things that I pursue in life. So if I believe in something, I'm passionate about it. You can feel it. You can hear it in my heartbeat. I'm passionate about helping people. So what happens is, if a person, this is what's going to happen. I want you to pay a very close attention to this. In our industry, and I'm talking not right now to network marketers. In our industry, there are a lot of people that teach people, well, not just our industry, but also in traditional business. They teach salespeople how to manipulate people. They teach you how to use words and phrases to, i.e., get the sale. What's the script? Follow the script, get the sale, get to the close. You have your intro, you have your feelings, your emotions, and then close them with the punchline. Hit them with something in their life that's going to make them get emotional. You know, I have another training that I have that I call it the crossover. And in traditional business, people tell salespeople you have to find that emotional part of them to get a person to make a buying decision. Well, what happens with that is you stay within your brain. You see, your brain will keep you limited. What we teach here, you have to go beyond your brain. In order to go beyond your brain, in order to get into the atmosphere of influence, you see this gentleman standing on the rock, and he is like he's standing in the heavens. He's actually is in the heavens, right? Why is he in the heavens? Because he's by the clouds. That's the heavens, right? He's near the clouds. He's very high on a high top mountain. So he's not in the valley. If you want to stay in the valley, stay within your brain, stay within your mind, stay within what you believe and what you can think you can do by yourself on your own. But when you release your thoughts, your desires, your aspirations to the atmosphere, to the heavens, then the universe will begin to work around that thought pattern. Begin to work around those words that you put out there to have come back to you. Now watch this. Watch this. This is the uniqueness of that. It doesn't matter what you do. It can be negative or it can be positive. So if you send negative waves out into the atmosphere, you speak negative thoughts concerning your health, concerning your life, concerning your marriage, concerning anything, then what you're going to be able to do is you're going to bring those negative things back to you. Okay, Nathan, thank you, Miss Lucy. Nathaniel said he couldn't hear. But what I also do right now, I'll dial into our conference line because I didn't dial in. If anyone else can't hear, dial into the conference line, and I'll dial into that conference line now. That conference line number is 712-432-0075. Dial into that conference line right now. The PIN number is 865-707#. Thank you, Lou, so much. I appreciate all your help. So dial into that conference line number right now, and we're help those that are listening in online. So I'm gonna dial in right now myself. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we dialed into the conference line. So if anyone else can't hear, Lou, if you could just type that in the chat box so they can dial into the conference line and they can listen in. So back to what I was saying. As this gentleman is standing on top of this mountain, he's in the atmosphere, right? Watch this. When you release your resources out, there's something that has to come back to you, regardless of what it is and what you're doing, okay? It has to come back. So it's very important that you have the right attitude. It's very important that you have the right mindset. Now, when I'm going after something, I put my blinders on and I start to run, but I don't limit it to my own mindset. Yes, Nathan. Oh, I can't talk. So, okay. Let me copy and paste this in there again for him, for Lou. Okay. So here he is at the top, and he's trying to conceive, and he's trying to conceive, and he's reaching out. See his hand stretched out there? So in other words, he's inviting the universe to hear what he's saying and what he's putting out there. And you're going to get those same things back. You're going to get something back, okay? Whether you believe it or not, I want you to go back right now in the patterns of your mind. Go back right now in the thought patterns of your mind and think about how much you dwelt on something negative that happened in your life, something bad that happened in your life, and you'll see a pattern, whether it happened a week later, a month later, or whatever, something else triggered and happened or bounced off of that. Now go back in your mind and think about positive things that happened in your life. You had a positive attitude. You had a positive outlook. Then you think about all the positive things that came your way, whether it was only someone coming to you to encourage you to do what you're doing. You see, the trick of the mind is this. Watch this. I'm going to tell you something that's very powerful. The trick of the mind is this. You could be working your business. You could be working your business, and then 5 people can tell you that your business is going to fail. Or you could be working your business and 20 people that you share your business with, or 30 people that you share your business with, or you try to get a customer, you try to help people with your business, then 30 of them will tell you that your business will fail. Then you get 2 people that you introduce your business to, and they'll tell you, oh, this is a great idea. This is wonderful. This is powerful. Thank you for introducing it to me. Whether they become a client, a customer, or business partner or not. What would happen normally, because our brain is trained from birth in this world to think on a negative aspect opposed to the positive aspect, your brain is going to gravitate toward the 30 negative instead of the 2 positive. So what you have to do as an individual, as a person, a pursuer of truth, as a pursuer of life changing, what you have to do, you have to set some barriers around your brain. You have to set some barriers around your thought patterns in order to help you stay focused on what it is that you're trying to achieve. Your attitude is very important. Now, this is also a failure in the mindset. A lot of time people believe that their failure is based on someone else, what someone else did to them. Well, I really don't believe that, because I have control of my own thoughts. I have control of my own actions. I have control of my own belief. Let me give you a good example. Just yesterday, I was watching a television program with my wife, and I'm going, this is just, it was just some weird stuff going on the television program. And I said, this just doesn't make sense. This is just too crazy. I said, if I was in an environment like that, regardless of my income, regardless of my status, I would run away. Why? Because my brain said, I will not submit or subject myself and my brain and my anatomy, any part of me, to an environment like that. I would get up and run and get away. Whether I had somewhere to live, stay, or whatnot, I would get out of that environment. You understand that, ladies and gentlemen? It had nothing to do with where I was reared. It had nothing to do with where I came up from. Are you following me? In my birth, in my growth, I grew up in the rural South. I grew up in what would be called a shotgun house. I have 15 siblings, 10 of which stayed in the same home with me at some point in time, not all at the same time. But it was a 3-bedroom shotgun house. If you don't know what that means, look what that is. Look it up on the internet, okay? I'll look at some old 1960s homes in the rural South, right? So, but watch this. My mindset knew that I was limited in income and resources, but not so much. But growing up, I did not allow my mind to tell me I was going to stay in that environment. Are you understanding me? My mind said I'm going to college. My mind said I'm going to be a business person. My mind said I'm going to reach back and help my mother, my father, etc. My mind as a 10-year-old said I am getting out. And I allowed that one piece, regardless of what my environment was saying around me, I remained steadfast and focused to be committed to something. There was something that our parents always taught us. When you do something, stick to it. When you do something, be committed to it. And the first thing we had to be committed to was, of course, our belief in our Heavenly Father. So the mindset is very important. It's not them, it's you. Now that's a whole harsh reality to a lot of you. It's not the person that did you wrong, it's you. It's not the person that fired you on your job, it's you. Watch this. You looking at you being fired from your job as a negative. Why? Because your brain said, if I don't have money, I can't take care of my family. That's what your brain said. But watch this. If your brain would say, wow, now I have an opportunity to seek something better for my life. This is not a curse, but it could be a blessing. You can flip the script if you choose to. But if you stay on the negative aspect, you'll continue to go down that cycle, that spiral cycle of defeat and valley of depression. But if you decide to rise up out of the ashes, as this gentleman is standing on the mountaintop, If you decide to rise up first in your mindset, hey, there's an opportunity. I'm not limited anymore. They were not paying me enough anyway. I'm going to go out and find something bigger, better for myself and for my family. Ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't them. It was you. How did you deal with it? What did you do about it? What was the concept behind it? Do you put your life in the hands of other people's thoughts and patterns and passions and desires for themselves? Or do you take control of your own life, of your own purpose? You see, this is the fallacy in America. They say, go do this and then be subject to someone else's control, someone else's manipulation, someone else's desires and dreams, opposed to being controlled of your own. If you're in control of your own, then you look for a higher power of authority in the universe to bring you what it is that you need to fulfill your purpose in life. If you never grab hold to that, you'll always be in a cycle, in a spiral of defeat. It begins with you. It begins with your mindset. Now, as we move forward, you have to know what's going to be driving you in your passions for life. What's going to be driving you in your passions for life? Now, a lot of this information here on the screen, hey, I want more time with my family. A lot of these things deal with the mental, emotional part of the brain. I want more time with my family. I want to have a good college funding for my children. I want a new home. I want a new house. I want to get out of debt. I want to take more family vacation. I want to give more to my church, my school, my synagogue, my Rotary, etc. I want to be able to retire without worrying about money. I want a new boat, new car. Now, a lot of these things right here is dealing with a certain part of the brain that's going to get you up to help you get motivated. Now, that's good in one aspect to start you on the path, right? But it's not good enough to continue you on the path, because once you achieve this, where are you going to go then? Once you have the boat, once you have the car, once you have the RV, once you are out of debt, once you have the new home you always dreamed of, it's on your dream board, you got 2 swimming pools, it's 5,000 square feet. Once you have it all, what then? I was watching a documentary a few days ago on Oprah's new network, and she was interviewing 50 Cent. Okay, she was interviewing Curtis, right? And in her interviewing him, he was telling the story how he purchased Mike Tyson's old mansion. I think it was like 300 rooms, 15 different bathrooms. It was like the house was a mansion. It was like 30,000 square feet or whatever the part was. But watch this. This what happened. The house, the home is empty. Not empty in possessions, but empty in body and life. You see, your life has an energy to it. The home is empty. Why is the home empty? It's up for sale right now. He bought it at $4 or $6 million. He's trying to sell it for $10 million. The home is empty. He doesn't even live there. He barely goes there. He's a multi-millionaire. Now, this is what he said. I'm not putting the words in his mouth. His story is going to give you the identifying marker of what I just told you on this screen. He said, Oprah, when I was coming up and I had my entourage and I was just getting in the game, I thought I needed, watch this, he went back in the past. He said, at that time, I thought I needed it. I thought I needed that mansion to give me and show people and show myself that I had made it. Well, if the thought pattern, if your why is the big giant mansion, you got 3 swimming pools, you got 25 bathrooms, if that's your dream, if that's your goal, and then once you get it, where are you going? His house is empty. He doesn't even live there. They shot the interview in a 3,000 square foot home that he bought for his grandmother. Are you listening to me? Possessions aren't your why. It's empty. Once you get there, where are you going to go? Guess what he's doing now? He's working with chauffeur to deal with his personal development in his brain. He's looking to build not just a brand, but leave a legacy. I want him to go beyond leaving a legacy for himself. I want him to think about the universe and think about all people, but he's yet to get to that stage. But he wants to go higher and above. So it's not about possessions anymore. It's not about having all the money anymore. It's not about the new home. It's not about the retirement. It's about what are you going to do? In other words, your why has to be bigger than yourself. Your why has to be bigger than a new house, a new car, a new boat. It has to be bigger. Ladies and gentlemen, if it's not bigger, you need to go back to the drawing board. You need to get back to some meditation. You need to find out why is your why in you that's driving you. You need to go back to the foundation of why am I here? What is my purpose? What is driving me to even desire to be better and bigger than what I am right now? Because when you get that car, bam, after a few days, it's going to dissipate. When you get that new home, after 6 months, the feeling is going to leave you. You must go above and beyond that because your why must help you to continue to be driven beyond material things. Now, also watch this. You must be able to set short-term and long-term goals. Now, what does that mean? That simply means, it goes back to the mindset. It simply means you write them down. It simply means you write them down. Now, why do you want to write them down? There's two reasons why you want to write them down. One, if you're not conditioned in your mind to stay focused, it's going to help you stay focused on it because you can see it. Then the second thing is this. According to psychiatrists, according to the physical anatomy, when you write something down, there's an aura that goes through your anatomy. It goes through your brain. It goes through your hand. It becomes a part of you. And then when you see it, it makes you become accountable to it. And why do we say short-term goals and long-term goals? In other words, you don't want to have something so big and so out there that you can't achieve it in the beginning of your process. You see, everything starts with small steps. Everything starts with small steps, incremental steps towards success, right? So if you have short-term goals, you want to be able to say, okay, I'm going to run toward the 100-yard line, or I'm going to make a full lap around the track. You know, I'm going to do a total lap around the track, but when I get 100 yards, that's going to be a marker. I want to get to 100 yards in 12 seconds. I want to get to my 220. I want to get there in in 25 or 30 seconds. Are you with me? So I want to set short-term goals that I can realistically hit. I want to press myself, but I want to be able to realistically hit it. In other words, if my goal is to get 5 customers, regardless of the business you're in, if my goal is to get 5 customers by the end of the month, then I backtrack and I say all I have to do is focus on getting 1 customer a week. 1 customer a week, you're going to fall into that last 5th customer if there's not 5 weeks in a month. So 1 customer a week, that's a short-term goal. So you have 7 days to get 1 customer. Then your long-term goal is, hey, a year out, I want to personally be able to have at least 50 to 100 customers. So you backtrack it and then you go down and you write it down. So you want to focus on what it is your short-term goal is and then your long-term goal, something achievable. What happens a lot of time in our industry of networking is that people say, okay, gee whiz, I want to be a regional vice president. For most companies, that's a title at the top of the comp plan. And they say, I'm going to run hard for 30 days. And if I'm not halfway there, I'm just going to quit and give up. Allow me to ask you a question. When you started your job, let's back up. When you went to school, you went to college. If you went to school or if you went to college or any type of extra vocation. When you started that, did you say, I'm going to do it for 30 days, and if I don't have my degree in 30 days, I'm going to quit? Did you do that? Someone talk to me in the chat box. Did you start a vocation? Did you start a school? Did you start a curriculum? Anything? And say, if I do not have my degree in 30 days, I'm quitting. No, you did not do that. Because guess what? It didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, does it? Now watch how the brain, this is the fallacy in America. The fallacy in America says this. We've been taught and trained this. Well, I'm going to go back. The worst thing that happened to America was, I agree, was the Great Depression in the 30s. That was the worst thing that happened to America. Why? Because it took us to the industrial age, right? And then in the industrial age, what happened? People started working for other people. But prior to the Great Depression, people, 90%, go back and check your history, 80 to 90% of people were working for themselves. They had a mindset of, I have to do it. I have to get it done. And this is how I do it. I plant the seed. It's going to take 3 months for it to grow. Then I'm going to harvest it. Or I'm going to build this. I'm going to cut down the trees. And I'm going to build this house. And I'm going to go hire my service for someone else and teach them how to build a house or a log cabin, etc., etc. We were working for ourselves. We were building for ourselves. We had our own economy above and beyond the government. We were bartering. We had our brains. We were not letting other people control us. Then the Great Depression came. Then the government stepped in. Then the government started subsidizing people that could not take care of themselves. Then we had this great revolution of the industry age. Ladies and gentlemen, that was probably one of the worst things that happened to America. But watch this. What are you going to do about it? The people that came out of that, there were only about probably 5% that came out and said, hey, I will not stay in this mindset. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm going to do. They may not have made it, but their generations or their children made it out and they stayed focused on the cause. Watch this. If you allow yourself to believe that you can, it's going to get done in 30 days. It's going to get done in 6 months. It's going to get done in a year. You already setting yourself up for failure. You might as well not start. Don't start. Go back, get with a mentor, go back and listen to some tapes, go back and listen to some inspirational music, go back and listen to something else other than the people around you with all the negativity. What you have to do, this is what you have to do. You have to set in your mind that I have something, I'm going to stay focused on it. If it doesn't work in 30 days, if it doesn't work in 6 months, if you know the plan is solid, listen to me clearly. If you know the plan is solid, you have to stick to the plan. How many times has Donald Trump went bankrupt? How many times did Edison try to do the light bulb? How many times? How long did it take them to build the rail system across America? How long did it take? No, the goal was always there. The vision was always there, but it took years. How long did it take them to build the Hoover Dam? The vision was there, but it took almost 100 freaking years? 40 plus years to build it? Ladies and gentlemen, you must stay focused. If you have something solid, if you know your business model is solid, I don't care what it is. I do traditional business and consulting too, right? And this is one of the things that we always have to remind people of. A traditional business owner, they have an idea. They have a thought, right? And they say, well, I don't have the money, but I'm going to put a plan together. And in America, it's called a business plan. I'm going to put a plan together. And I'm going to show some angel investors. I'm going to show the bank. I'm going to show my family. I'm going to show someone who has money to fund my vision. And I'm going to show them that how in 5 years, within 5 years, I'm going to break even. Then starting in year 6, I'm going to be in profit. And I'm going to sell that to somebody. Ladies and gentlemen, they have a 5-year plan to go to work for 16 to 18 hours a day. 5 to 6, sometimes 7 days a week. for 5 years before they're willing to make a profit. They've already set their mindset to do that. I want to encourage you. Your home-based business is no different. It's no different. If you know you have a solid business model, if you know your business model is solid, if you know there's no tampering going on, ladies and gentlemen, don't give yourself 30 days. Give yourself 2 years to 3 years in home-based business to make it work. Why? Because after you get through your rejection, after you go through your rejection in your home-based business of your friends, your family, then of people you don't know, you meet on the streets, you meet online and offline. After you go through your rejection, guess what that is? That's only setting you up for success. So what you want to do is you want to have a goal. I have a solid business model. I'm going to give myself 3 years to make this model work. I'm giving myself 3 years to make this model work. And then at this model, if I'm not at least breaking even in my overhead in 3 years, if I'm not breaking even in my overhead, and what is your overhead? Your overhead is going to be the monthly cost to run your business, whatever company you're with. It's going to be the expenses that you use to fund your business, because watch this. I'm gonna open up the dam. When you start a home-based business, it's just not the initial investment of $50 or $100, $500 or $2,000. It's not just that initial investment. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to invest more of your money and your time. Point blank. If you want it to work, you have to invest more. Now, it may not be $1,000 a month. It may not even be an extra $500 or $200 a month. But it's going to be an extra something. It's going to be an extra something. So give yourself 2 years in your home-based business, a minimum. I really want to say 3, but a minimum of 2 years to focus in on what you're doing, and don't stop. If you find a mentor, you find a successful model that's working, start following that model. And I want to encourage you, if you just started today, I was communicating with a gentleman this past week. You know, I don't want to say his name because, you know, maybe on this webinar, inviting him to this webinar. He gave me a call and he said, Michael, I've been watching you online and I have something to help you grow your business. And I said, well, I'm really, really busy, Mr. So-and-so. You know, tell me what you have. You know, I see if it works and, you know, we can look at it and whatnot, et cetera, et cetera. And he shared something with me. He said, well, I'm new to this marketing stuff. He was talking about online marketing. I'm new to this marketing stuff and I can't find my way. And I said, well, this is what I do. Send me what you have and I will look at it, because he came to me. He said, Michael, I want to network with people. I just want to network with other networkers. You know, he didn't come out and say, hey, I'm trying to recruit you. And I said, okay, you know, tell me. It took him a while to tell me what he wanted. You know, when people call you, they either trying to sell you something or they're interested in what you're advertising. And he was kind of vague for the first 3 minutes. You know, and I try to be patient as I can with people, but when that happens to me, I know it's kind of like a cross recruiting type of thing going on. And I said, well, just tell me what it is you want from me. Just tell me what you want. And he said, well, I want to network and I have this product. That product can help you build your business. And I said, well, did you develop the product? You know, because I'm interested in working with people. Thank you, Lou. Thank you. You got it. I'm getting there. I'm interested in working with people that have their own product and services that can help enhance me. I'm not looking to get involved with another program. I'm not looking to sell somebody else's program to make my program work. I'm good with what I'm doing right now. I don't have to spend money on another program. I can do stuff for free, you know, to get traction or to get leads, etc. Right? Watch this. So he pretty much sells me on networking with each other. I said, hey, great. I love networking with people, whether you like my product or service or not. You know, let's just see what we can develop. I said, well, this is what I want you to do. Shoot me your information. And then he asked me about my business and my information. I said, well, shoot me via email your stuff, and then I'll just reply back and send you your stuff. And then he said, well, I'll follow with you in a couple of days. I said, okay. Well, a couple of days passed, and he gave me a call on this past Thursday. So he's 2 days late. I'm a professional. He's 2 days late. And he calls me up, and this is what he says. He says, Michael, this is so and so. I have a person on the line that's gonna help. We talked the other day. They're gonna help identify and tell you what it is. I stopped him right there, cold in his tracks. I said, "Listen here. I'm interested in you. I'm not interested in getting on a three-way call with anyone else. That's not what we agreed upon." I said, "First of all, you're 2 days late. Number one, I'm a professional. I'm very busy." First of all, he asked me if I had 10 minutes. I said I have 5. Why did I say I have 5? I actually had more than 10. But why did I say I had 5? I said I had 5 because I only had 5 for him. Because he was already 2 days late. Not only being 2 days late, he wanted to put me on a three-way call for somebody else to close me. I don't roll like that. No, I made a commitment to you. I wanted to invest in you, not into someone else I don't know or didn't hear of. So he said, and I gave him a seasonal response and motivation to say, I want you. And I said, listen here, Mr. So-and-so, I'll give you another chance. I'll give you another chance. I'm interested in you. I said, did you even look at the email I sent you? He said, no. He said, where is it? He goes online to his email box, look at the email, finds it. And then that made me even more sadder. I was more sad inside because he did not take the time to do what he said he was going to do. He did not look at the information I sent him. Not that I'm trying to recruit him, but I said I would look at your information. He said, Michael, did you look at it? I said, yes, I did. I'm very busy, but I told him I would look at the information because it may help my business. It may help my team members. I'm always looking for ways to help my team, because if I help my team, I'm helping myself. I thought he may, based on the first conversation, I thought he may have had something. But ladies and gentlemen, he didn't have something. But what he did have, he had himself. He had himself, and that was good enough for me. That was good enough for me. But he failed. But I said, I'll give you another chance. This is how I work. I'm very professional. You failed at this. I give you another chance. Let's see if we can work out whatever it is we can work out if we want to network. And he said, I'm not seasoned at this, Michael. I do apologize. I see this. I respect who you are and what your time is. I'll give you a call tomorrow around about this same time, etc., etc., etc. So he gives me a call back yesterday, but it wasn't at the same time. But I got a very beautiful, listen to me, a very beautiful, wonderful, well-written email from him this morning that gave me a list. He apologized again. He said, Michael, hey, I'm not bound to anything. I'm open. I looked at what you had. It looks wonderful. It looks beautiful. I'm into building something for my family. I'm not stuck to a program. I'm open, etc., etc. And listen here, Michael, I'm new to this information age. I'm new to networking. I'm new to marketing. Hey, let's just talk. Give me a call. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to recruit him in my business. I'm trying to help him, and I'm trying to connect with him and he with me. Are you following me? So don't allow your end game to be, oh, I need to get this person. I need to get this person. I need to get this person. Your end game should be, how can I help anybody in the universe? Your end game should be, how can I help anybody improve their life? Whether you are with a nutraceutical company, or whether you're with a service end company, or whether you just have a mom and pop shop around the corner, how can I help somebody else improve their life, improve their livelihood? Are you following me? You need to get out of your own self. As long as you stay in yourself, me, I, short-term goal, long-term goal, you're always going to be in you. And watch this. A seasoned person not only are going to notice it, hear it, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it. That's what I wanted to share with you at the beginning. When you come to a person, you must be honest in your intentions. You must be truthful and upright in your intentions from the inner part. From the inner part. Now, if a person isn't seasoned, if they haven't gone through understanding psychology, if they haven't gone through some type of spiritual advancement, if they haven't gone through some type of business training, they may not get it. But when you run across one that has gone through any or all of those things, they're going to hear it, they're going to see it, and they're going to feel it. And I'm trying to warn you ahead of time. If you're only thinking about yourself, and what you can get out of somebody else, you're going to fail. You may make $5,000, but you're not going to maintain it. You may make $10,000, but you're not going to maintain it because the universe will not allow you to maintain it. Are you listening to me? You must be honest. You must be honest with not only with yourself first, but with how you project what it is that you're doing and what you have. You must be willing to give. I love the way one of a gentleman I met a couple of years ago, I'll say his name, I'm recording this, but I'll say his name anyway. Mr. Brandon Ivy. I love the way that this gentleman approaches every individual in every aspect of his business. He's saying, okay, well, if I help this person, it's going to help me. Whether they're working in his business or out of his business, he says, I'm open to helping the universe. I look at someone like a Lou Smith or Richard Worsley. They're looking to help anybody that they can, regardless of where they are. Ladies and gentlemen, when you project that out to the universe, things are going to come back to you. Watch this. This is the fallacy of the business environment. It says it's coming back in 30 days. That's a lie. It may take a year for it to come back. But if you put enough out there, it's going to start to take a snowball effect. Are you following me? It takes a snowball effect. You cannot build a snowball and it is not going to be a giant snowball within 2 minutes of building the snowball. Are you following me? It's going to take a snowball effect. You must be willing to go through the process. If you're not willing to go through the process, you are going to quit in 30 days. You are going to quit in 6 months. You are going to quit in 9 months. You must be willing to go through the process. If you are just now starting, it's going to take you a minimum of 2 to 3 years to learn the basics of what we do in our industry. Point blank, hands down, bar none, second to none. I started with A.L. Williams, moved on to ACN, and those were my training grounds. I advanced in my knowledge, in my concept of business, in my concept of spirituality, in my concepts of things around me. It took me 10 years in the game to be playing on the level I play on now. Right now, I work with and deal with owners of companies. I've started my own company in the past with my brother, but I work and deal with owners of the company. And this is the fallacy. Watch this, guys. Watch this. In the last 10 years of always dealing with the owners of the corporations I work with, whether traditional business or network marketing, I never sought them out. I never tried to say, hey, Bob, you need to connect me with the owner so I can talk to the owner because I'm Michael Smith. I'm Dr. Michael Smith Sr. I'm this and I'm... No, I did not do that. I said, okay, I see the program. The program is good. It looks good. Yes, I'm going to join that program. But guess what happened? Over the last 10 years, every single company that I've ever been involved with, the owners found their way to me and I started working directly with them. Whether I was frontline, whether I was 1,000 members deep. Are you listening to me? I could have been, and sometime I was like 30 to 50 to 100 members deep in the company's downline, but I always worked with the company owners. Are you listening to me? I did not seek them out. The universe brought them to me. If you put out positive energy is coming back. But you must be truthful in your actions. If you're not truthful, it will not sustain itself. As we move forward, it takes time for anything to grow. And I basically just covered this. You have to go through the process. A farmer, when he plants something, he plants the seeds in the ground. There's no way in the world that a farmer is going to expect that he's going to plant a seed day one, and then in day two, he's going to have a full harvest. That's not realistic. There's no way a farmer is going to plant a seed today, and then in 3 months, he's going to have a full harvest. Again, I grew up in the rural South during the times when cotton was very fashionable. It was a high commodity. They planted the seeds. 9 months later, 6 months later, you got white cotton all over the place. But during the process, watch this. Let me go to the next slide. During the process of this cotton growing, they had to give it vegetation. People had to go out there and keep the weeds from around the cotton from choking it out. If the farmer wanted to have great success, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what business you start. I don't care whether you start with anyone on this webinar. I don't care if you start with anyone you find online. It does not matter. There's no way in the world that you're going to have success the very next day in regards to the ultimate prize. I'm talking 5 figures a month and above. Even if you are a heavy hitter, watch this. Even if you are a heavy hitter or a person of influence, what has to happen? You got to go through the process of putting in the application or turning the product or turning the services, etc., etc. It may take you 30 days, it may take you 90 days, it may take you a year to hit your $10,000 or $30,000 or $50,000 a month. But watch this, a heavy hitter already knows. They've already mapped out the process of success based on the comp plan. They already know how long it's going to take. But why is it when a new person starts in our industry or in a business or a home-based business, for some reason they think it's going to happen in 30 to 60 to 90 days? That's just unreasonable. It's unreasonable. It is unreasonable. It's like this. Watch this. When you started your job, and I'm pretty sure most of you have worked for someone. If you never worked with someone before in your life or for someone in your life, you're blessed, you got a silver spoon, and do something good with that. Or you're just lazy, okay? But if you ever work with someone in your life or for someone in your life, I'm saying work with because I don't like people controlling me. If you ever worked with someone in your life, you started a new occupation or a new job. You're the new person on the block. You don't know anything about that. You follow the leadership of the management or the supervisor or the owner, and you go through a process of information exchange. Then 6 months later, you probably can do that job in your sleep, but you could not do it in your sleep the first 30 days. You had to learn something. Ladies and gentlemen, our business is no different. You have to go through the process of information exchange. You have to become a student of the game. You must become a student of the process. You must be able to plant your seed, nurture that seed, and watch this. The seed that you're really nurturing is not your business, is yourself. I'm going to say that again. It is not your business, it's yourself. You're not nurturing your business, you're nurturing yourself, because when yourself goes into effect, of saying, I'm going to get better in my understanding, in my knowledge, in my whereabouts, in my thought patterns, then your business will automatically begin to increase. So what are you doing? You're watering your business by watering yourself. You're giving vegetation to your business by giving vegetation to yourself. You're putting good things in your business, in yourself. Therefore, good things are going to come to your business. Instead of eating fast food all the time, you're cooking some good, wholesome, organic foods and putting it into your system, and therefore good results are going to come out. It begins with you and your mindset of what you put in yourself. The vegetation that you put in yourself. You cannot expect to reap a harvest if you have not sown any seeds. Man, I love this slide. You must put in some time if you want to get time. This is a beautiful slide. Why? Why is this so powerful? Because there's so many people that have this mindset that came after the Great Depression. When the welfare system came, when the government started subsidizing people and start telling them, hey, you don't have to pretty much, think for yourself and how you're going to do it and how you're going to barter, how you're going to take care of yourself, how you're going to build, how you're going to grow. In other words, we'll do it for you. It created a lazy attitude in the atmosphere around America. Okay. I don't know about other countries. I've never lived in other countries. Okay. Only in America is where I've lived. So this thought pattern is in the universe over the atmosphere of America. In other words, I can see somebody else's success. I can see Rich Worsley's success. I could see Otis Hubbard's success. I can see their success, and then I can walk up to them and say, hey, Otis, I see your success, and I want some of it, and I need you to give me some of your success. And I haven't planted one seed, but I feel I have a right, out of my laziness, out of my arrogance, to get what he's worked so hard for. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't work like that. The mindset works like that, but the universe does not work like that. The universe says this. The universe says, Otis, I'm coming to you. I see what you've done. I want to partner up with you. I want to learn how you did it, Otis. And because I'm going to learn from you, I'm going to compensate you, Otis. I'm going to pay you for your time. Now I'm a student of Otis. Not only is he teaching me, but I'm paying him because he's my teacher. He's my mentor. I'm giving him something back. Now, if we're in the same company as network marketing works, he may give me that information for free because I'm vested in him. So the exchange is barter. He'll educate me. He'll train me for free because as he succeeds, I will exceed. That's the beautiful thing about network marketing. If I teach someone else to be successful and they become successful, then I've already gotten my rate of return from them in their efforts. And then watch this. This is the most beautiful thing about that. The universe is even going to give more back to me. It's going to give me more students. It's going to give me more resources to do what I'm doing, it because I'm doing it out of a good, honest place. Are you all listening to me? Are you listening to me? You're going to get what you deserve, but do not try to get something for free. Do not try to get something for free. There's nothing in life that is free. Whether you think you got it free, you did not get it free. Your brain is lying to you. Your brain is lying to you. Oh, I got this free. That's a lie. Someone paid for it. You probably didn't pay for it yet, but you will at some point in time down the road. But someone paid the price for it. You know, I remember when I started in A.L. Williams. I went to my pastor at the time. I wasn't a pastor. I was a young buck. I was like 19 years of age. About 21, I'm sorry. I went to my pastor when I first saw A.L. Williams. And I went to him at church and I said, I was like so excited. I said, did you know this? Did you know A.L. Williams was here? Did you know this? I'm all excited. I'm up in the study. I'm with him. I'm up in the study, right? I'm a young minister. I'm up in the study. Did you know this existed? He said, yes, I knew that existed. I know about A.L. Williams. And I said, why isn't everybody doing it? Why isn't everybody doing it? And then I said, I had come out of my mouth. These are the words that came out of my mouth. I'm paraphrasing. I said something about, it's free. He turned around and he told me, this is wisdom. Guys, this is wisdom. He said, nothing's free, Michael. Somebody's paid for it. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing in life is free. Someone had to pay for it. Someone had to pay for it. Who's paying for your success today? I'm paying for your success. I'm taking time out. No one put any money in my PayPal account to do this training this morning. No one did that. Now you can if you want to. I give it to you if you want it. Watch this. No one. I did not pay Mr. Brandon Ivy. I said, Brandon, I need you to teach me this stuff about YouTube. I need you to teach me this stuff about video marketing. I need you to teach me. I called him up. He did not say, watch this. This is a beautiful thing about planning and giving. I saw what he was doing. I said, man, I need to change my game. I'm old school. I'm belly to belly, face to face. I ran out of my name list. I'm going, what can I do? What's going on? And I've only been doing this stuff, this online marketing stuff, since I met Brandon Ivy. No lie. We've been working together now for almost 2 years. Watch this. He did not say, hey, everybody, I'm doing a training as he does now. He did not say that. He did not say, everybody, I'm doing a YouTube training. Come learn how to do YouTube. Come learn how to do Facebook. That didn't happen when I started working with him. He did not expose any of that information. I'm sharing something with you. I went to him. I said, man, tell me what you're doing. How you doing this? He took the time. He took 30 to 45 minutes to an hour out of his time to share with me what he was doing, how he was doing it. He said, Michael, you got to get it out there. You have to get it out there. I started, I looked at, I stumbled, I bumbled, and man, it changed my life. It changed my life. I did not pay him for that. Thank you, sir. I'm honored to be working with you. Thank you for what you gave out to me. I didn't get it for free. He suffered for that. He paid for programs. He stayed up late at night learning that stuff himself. Then he gave it to me free because I did not give something back to him, but I had a vested interest in him. He had a vested interest in me. My success turned to his success. It allowed him to get catapulted to higher ranks, more marketing around our industry, along with other people he was working with. Are you following me? He did not start yesterday. Now when you mention the name Brandon Ivy, every major networker knows it. Why? Because Brandon poured into other people for free. But he didn't do it for free because the universe gave it back to him. But he did not say, okay, well, I'm going to charge you $5,000. Are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? You have to give back. There's nothing in life for free. And the best thing about it, when you start giving back, I mean, it can come back tomorrow, but it may take 2 weeks for it to come back. It may take a year for it to come back. You must put some time in yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. When you invest in yourself out of an honest and a pure way, it's going to come back to you. You must give it time. This is not our industry. Forget about all the get rich quick schemes or truthful ways that people do get rich in our industry. It does happen. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It didn't happen overnight. They have a track record of 5 years, 10 years. They can move people really quickly. Or they have skills that they learn and pay for to move product and service very quickly. That's how they get rich. They've already developed the skills. They've already put the time in. And then they tell you the lie. Oh, you can do this in such and such short period of time. It's a lie. They're keeping the secret from you that it takes time. And then when you don't do it in the time frame that they did it in, now you upset, you're mad, and then you want to quit. Because you think, and watch this, it plays a psychological effect on your brain. Now you're defeated even more than you were before you got started. A gentleman called me the other day, and he's on the line. Otis calls me the other day. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Otis said, Mike, hey, I've been looking at your YouTube stuff, blase. But Otis said, my problem is... Otis said, my problem is, it looks good, but my problem is, I don't know how to market. My problem is, I don't know how to get people. I said, Otis, this is what I said. I said, Otis, I'm going to answer your question, but I want to encourage you first of all. There's something that you said that's not true. You said your problem is. I said, Otis, you don't have a problem. Then, even when after I told him he didn't have a problem, before we ended the call, Otis said it again. I have a problem. You see how our brain has tricked us? You see how society has tricked us? You see how failure has put in your brain that once you fail one time, you're always going to fail. That's a lie. It's a lie. Don't believe the lie. If you have someone that's better than you, all you have to do is learn what they've done. That's all. That's all you have to do. Do you think every farmer that's growing wheat right now developed the way to grow the wheat themselves? No, they're copycats. They are copycats. Every wheat farmer did not develop how to grow the wheat as fast and efficient and harvest it as fast and efficient by themselves. No, they're a copycat. The systems were already in place. They just copied it. But in our industry, we think for some reason, well, I think it's going to work this way. I don't have to go through training. I don't have to do this. I already know I'm smart. You know, I got a college degree. I got an MBA and blase. I'm a doctor so-and-so. And, you know, this is my friend just going to do what I say. Good night. When you went to school, did that happen? You're in an industry that is totally different than America. Because America has been trained to think like a robot. In our industry, we have you to think like a multi-billionaire. The people that run America. We want you thinking like the people. Oh my goodness. I'm back. I'm sorry, guys. Can you hear me? If you can hear me now, please type yes. If you can hear me, I'm back. If you can hear me, type yes. Okay, my internet got kicked me off. Let me pull my slides back up and then we'll continue on. So as this stuff is loading, the world has taught you this. America has taught you that one failure, you're going to always have failure. You see how your brain has been programmed? It's a lie. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Let me get back to my slide here. Where are we at here? So it's going to take time for this process and this information in this process to work. Let's go to the next slide. I hate when that happens. I was in a nice flow. I was in a nice flow. Then I got interrupted. Internet. Okay. Very important. Ignorance on fire is better than intelligence on ice. Paralysis by analysis. What does that mean? That simply means this. A lot of people join our industry, and I talk to a lot of, well, not a lot of people, but when I talk to some people, they think, I was talking to a gentleman a week or so ago. I was talking to a gentleman a week or so ago, and he said, well, Michael, I need to understand this. I need to have everything down before I get started, blase, blase. I said, well, you know, I understand where you're coming from, but you really don't. You don't have to know everything. All you need to know is 1, 2, and 3. All you need to know is get person on a call, get person to a website, get person on a 3-way call. That's all you need to know. I said, when you started your job, did you know everything in the first 6 months? They said no. I said, well, the same thing here. For some reason in our industry, people think they need to know everything before they start to go. The best thing for you in our industry in network marketing is you being ignorant. Because your friends, your family, and people you know meet online or offline. It doesn't matter where you meet the people. They're going to try to pry out of you the information. And if you're not strong enough, if you haven't gone through personal development, if you haven't gone through training, then guess what? You're going to try to tell them. But guess what? You can't tell them because you don't know all the information. So therefore, you're going to mess up. It's called burning your market. You're going to burn your market. Don't burn your market. Just say, hey, I don't know. Be honest. I don't know, but Bob knows. Let me get you in touch with Bob. I don't know, but this website knows. 24-hour information website knows. So it's better to be ignorant or unlearned or unknowledgeable than having all the information. Because if you're on ice, ice does what? The refrigerator does what? It slows down the mortality rate of anything. It slows it down. So you don't want to slow it down. You want to keep going fast, okay? Fire burns fast. Once a fire starts, it does what? It spreads, okay? Start to develop the right mental attitude. Have long-term thinking. Guys, this is so powerful. Treat your business like $100 business, not $100,000 business, not $100 business. So what are we saying? Treat it like in some businesses you can start for $50. Some businesses you can start for $1,000. And we want you to treat it like it's a multi-million-dollar business. In other words, if you started a mom and pop shop, a corner retail store, you're going to be paying an average of $1,000 to $2,000 a month just for the lease. You're going to be paying your electricity bill, your gas bill. You're going to be paying for your employees, or you're going to pay someone under the table other than yourself. And you're going to be there anywhere from 12 to 14 hours a day. And you're going to be committed. You're going to invest probably $10,000 to $30,000 to get this business up and running. Probably 10 to 50 if you don't get a loan, or even if you do get a loan, you're going to invest that much, and it's your investment because you have to pay it back. So you're going to be committed to that business. You're not going to think of it like it's a $100 business. What the beautiful thing about network marketing is this. You can come in, as Mr. Kiyosaki says, a low investment, anywhere from $0 to, let's say, $5,000, a low investment, and have the opportunity to make thousands of dollars a month over a certain period of time. And if that is the case, which it is, you should treat that business, regardless of your investment of initial $0 or an initial $5,000, like it is that $100,000 business, that $10,000 a month business that you desire to be. So in other words, you're probably saying in your brain, well, when I start making $10,000 a month, I'll start acting like it. I'll start working like it. I'll start talking like it. No, no, no. You start acting, you start talking, you start working like it now. Because how you see yourself is where you're going to be. I see myself where I'm going to be. And watch this beautiful transformation. I see and act where I'm going to be, where I want to be. This is the long-term goal, a year from now. But watch this. This is the beauty of growth. Because I see myself where I'm going to be a year from now, guess what? The likelihood is that I will be in that place that I've envisioned a year from now, if I continue on that path of personal development, of growth, of training with my mentors. I'm probably going to be in that place 6 months from now. Did you all hear that? I'm probably going to be in that place mentally, maybe not financially, but I'm going to be in that place mentally 6 months from now. So then what's going to happen? When I get to that place, I set another long-term goal. Oh, I want to be here a year from now. Then I go through another migration or evolution. Are you following me? It never stops. It never stops. How many multimillionaires do you know or heard of or seen an interview with or worked with or talked to that had said, okay, I made it now, I quit? Did Oprah quit? No. She said, I'm leaving my talk show and I'm starting my own network. 50 Cent, Curtis said, hey, I made it here. Now I need to branch out and do more. You never stop. Donald Trump says, I have this now. Okay, I'm here. Let me start a network marketing company. I have this. Let me start a new TV show. I have this. Let me start more. You branch out. You never stop growing. You never stop vision. Vision never dies. Vision never dies. Vision never dies. If you think, watch this. This is, oh man, I'm glad you guys stayed. The ones that stayed, this is the $1 million nugget. This is the $1 million nugget. It's coming right now. Vision never dies. If you think your vision or your goal is get to a place of being stagnant, oh, I have arrived and I have to stop working. I have to stop doing. I have to stop giving because I'm making $100,000 a month. I have all my houses. I have all my cars. I'm giving all to my poor. I'm doing everything I need to do, and I've arrived and the money keeps coming in. I don't have to do anything else. You just failed. You just failed. Because vision never dies. Vision continues to grow. It continues to grow. So now take that shift again. I'm not just going to limit myself to my goal in a year, to my goal in 5 years, to my goal in 10 years, because I know and understand when I get there, I must expand beyond that. Vision never dies. We're the ones that give up, not vision. The most important thing that you can bring to your business, again, I'm a Vitel representative. There's some generic people on the webinar. So this is just our slide. The best thing you can bring to your business is yourself. Number one, you have to be willing to work. You have to have a desire. You have to have commitment. You must be coachable. You must be excited. You must follow the system or whatever company you're working with. You must follow the system. You know, one of my mentors, I'm not going to mention the name, I'm not going to mention the company, but when I was working with him, he said, hey, he tried to work with our group in the beginning. He said, hey guys, your all group is blowing up. This is the path I want to work with you guys on. We're going to follow this system and you guys will own if your group goes, and this group started like 2 years after the company started. He said, you guys group are doing good. If your group goes and you guys follow this system that I'm telling you right now, you will own 80% of the company. Guess what? The group decided not to follow the system. They decided to say, no, my way is the better way. They decided to go into inside rift and fighting, right? Then what happened? The gentleman said, okay, no one is following this system that I know that works. I know it will work. I know it will work if I get someone to follow this system. The gentleman decided to leave the corporate office, go into the field, brought on leaders front line to him and said, hey, I called you for this reason. I have a plan. I want to see if my plan works. And if my plan works, we will not only own the company, but we will own the industry. He was not looking to own the company. He was not looking to be the best producer in the company. His goal was to be the best producer in the industry ever in network marketing. The company is freaking blowing up because he said, this is my system. This is what we're going to do. You're going to follow the system or you're not going to work on my team. Or you can just go do whatever you want to do. This is the system. And everybody that follows the system are making close to, and if not over, $100,000 a month in 2 years. Proof is in the pudding. Ladies and gentlemen, follow the system. If you have a proven system in your company, follow the system. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. You see, it doesn't matter what company you're in, if it's a system. There's some companies out there that's been around prior to Amway, but they've never changed their marketing plan. I mean, you're talking about to make $10,000 a month, man, you got to jump over hoops, jump through tires. But guess what? They have a system and people are doing it. They're working it. Then you can have a company that has the easiest comp plan. No one's following the system. And guess what? No one knows about the company. Because no one's making money. Because no one's following the system. It's not the system, it's the people. You must follow the system. You must be consistent. You must work. You must be committed. You got to put on that 2-year mindset. I'm in it to win it. I'm going to be excited about my business. When depressions comes, I'm going to put in a CD. When depressions comes, I'm going to put on a CD. When depressions come, I'm going to listen to some music. When depression comes, I'm calling my mentor. I need you to shake me up out of this muck and mire that I'm going through because I'm not feeling like I'm going to make it. Call your mentor. That's why they are there. Because they are vested in your success. If you never reach up to call someone, you won't have success. Let me give you a quick story. And this is a ministry story. You all know I'm a pastor. I had a person of our assembly give me a call and said, Michael, I'm frustrated. Michael, I'm confused. Well, they didn't say, Mike, I'm a pastor. Hey, I'm confused. I'm frustrated. I'm confused. And they said, I need to learn this. I need to learn this. I need to know this. I need to know this. I said, slow down. Wait a minute. Put the brakes on. I said, you don't need to know all this. All you need to know is be able to tap into the spiritual part of yourself and all that stuff will come. Then I said, and I listened to them. I said, well, you know what? You're probably right. You probably are missing something. They said, I feel like I'm missing something. I said, you know what? You're probably right. You are missing something. And this is what I said. I said, I will fill the gap for you. Whatever it is you don't know, you don't understand from a spiritual perspective or from a biblical perspective, I'll fill the gap for you. I'll fill in the gap. And I said this to them. And I said, because in Christendom, and this is not a church deal, I'm just telling you guys a story. In Christendom, the thought in Christendom is that one person should tell you everything. You should not do anything on your own. In other words, the pastor is supposed to know it all. You're not supposed to work and try to achieve some type of spiritual enlightenment yourself. Just tell me what it is and what to do. Well, that's a lie. That's a fallacy. It's not even in the Bible. But it's out there in the atmosphere. And it's been perpetuated for hundreds of years, right? So it's in the atmosphere. And I told this person, I said, when I desired, as a young person, before I became a pastor, when I desired to know more about God, I sought out a teacher. I sought out a school. I sought out information, not only with my Heavenly Father, but I sought out to get more. In other words, what I was sharing with this person, I said, if you want to know something, you must ask the teacher. You must seek out the teacher. It's that old, it comes from the Bible, but it's that old Asian philosophy. When the student, listen to me clearly, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And now watch this, ladies and gentlemen. It is the student that seek out the teacher. It is the student that seek out the information. The teacher is not seeking the student. The teacher already has all the information. When a person seeks out the Heavenly Father, he says, oh, I'm glad you're seeking me. Now I'll tell you. Now I'll share with you. When a person desires to go to school to become a doctor, the professors of the school aren't going out and say, oh, Bob, you want to be a doctor. I want you, Bob. Come here, Bob. I'm going to make you do this, Bob. Come here, Bob. Come, Bob, you're not in school. Come. No, it doesn't work that way. The student seeks the teacher. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You must become a student. And if you become a student, your teacher or your mentor will appear. Or better yet, if you're in network marketing, you already have a mentor. Well, my sponsor just doesn't get it. They just don't support me. There's someone above your sponsor. If you're with a good company, someone above your sponsor will reach down and help you. You reach up and get to them. Well, I don't know them. Call the company. Call the company and say, who's my sponsor? Who's my sponsor? And if they say, oh, I don't know, well, you say, company, I need you to train me. In other words, there are no excuses. There's no excuses. If you want it, go get it. If you desire it, go get it. You have to be willing to be committed. You must be coachable. That's the fallacy in our industry. People are not coachable. I believe Bob can teach me more. Well, Bob is teaching the same system. How can Bob teach you more when everybody's teaching the same thing? People aren't coachable. They want to do it their own way. Be coachable. Please be coachable. Emotional roller coaster. Man, this is the best one of all. Don't make your highs too high and your lows too low. Man, when you get a lot of no's and when people say, oh no, I'm not going to join your business, man, all of a sudden it's like on that roller coaster, it's like you're going down real fast. Shh. And it's like you're going to run straight into the ground, right? It's like, oh, is this going to end? Am I going to get over? Is it going to? Boom. And then when you having great success, then when you bring on 5 customers in a week, you bring on 5 distributors, 5 business partners in a week. Oh man, you're all high. Then next week 4 of them quit. Then you're all low. Ladies and gentlemen, you must be even keeled. When you get low, hey, guess what? This is gonna turn around. When you get high, yeah, I'm high right now, but hey, I got to keep pressing on. I'm gonna see what's gonna shake out. Only the good ones are gonna shake out in 6 months. We're gonna see who's still gonna be around. Keep an even keel, okay? Keep an even keel. Because there will be ups and downs in life. Ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. No life, no one that has ever lived in this earth has not had ups and downs. Now, character traits. You must understand and know what type of people you're dealing with. And in knowing what type of people you're going to be dealing with, you must be able to meet their need. Not your need, their need. Because their brain is wired, or I dare to say, gifted in a certain way. So what you want to be able to do is identify the gift of the character, identify the gift of the individual so that you can serve them. Hear what I'm saying? Not manipulate, not control, but serve. So in other words, you meet a person that's a shark. What is a shark? That's a person that's driven by money and respect. So in other words, if you're going to serve this person the right way, if you're going to serve them, if you want to get a Donald Trump. He's driven by money and respect. Okay. You want to recruit a person that has the character of a Donald Trump. They're a shark. Well, you're going to have to be able to show this person how much money they can make over a short period of time and a long period of time for substantial earnings. Because that's the only thing that's going to appeal to them. Then you have a whale. These type of people are motivated by helping other people. They're different than a shark. They don't care about the money. So in other words, if your business is going to be able to help people save money or help them with their health or whatnot, whether you're with a nutraceutical company or a product service driven company, you must find the need. If you're talking to a person that really cares about people, really cares about their community, you're going to have to focus on how it's going to help other people, not just them. You see, they're not concerned about themselves. They're concerned about helping other people. So you must be a servant to help them see that you have something of value that's going to help someone other than themselves and also other than you. Never lead with yourself. It does not matter. Either one of these character traits. Never lead with yourself. Oh, Donald Trump, I need you to work this business because you're so big and bad, and if you join the business, I'm going to make a lot of money. Bah. You just, oh, hey, Rabbi John, you're so good at helping people, and you do it with this and stuff. The person that's the leader of the of your synagogue, the person that's the leader of your school or your Rotary. Oh, you love helping people. You're a community activist. You know, if I can get you in this business, you know, I can make a lot of money. You can make a little bit too. Bomb. You just lost. Remember what we said in the beginning? Get out of your own way. Get out of your own self and think about others. You must be willing and able to serve the character trait of the person that you're looking to share the information with. Understand who they are and what they do. That's why I ask people, okay, what do you need? How can I serve you? When people call me, how can I serve you? What do you need? What is it that you're asking? You know, I can tell them the point blank information about my business because I know it like the back of my hand. But I want to know there's something that they saw that interested them. What was it? Sometimes people call me, oh, Michael, I just like what you said. They don't have anything to do with the business. They just like what I said, how I said it. Sometimes I get people to call me and say, oh, can you tell me this about motivation, etc., etc. They don't want to know nothing about my business. And I share with them and I serve them. Are you with me? And I don't try to recruit them because that's not what they're after. If they want to be recruited, they'll call me and ask me about my business. Then I'll share with them. Does that make sense? Now, then you have a dolphin. People that love to have fun. If you got a party goer, man, you know you got those young kids, and then you have the people in my age, the baby boomers that think they still can get it up and get it down as far as dancing. Okay, dancing. Get your mind out the gutter. Dancing, jump up and down. Guess what? You got to be able to tell them that, hey, this is a business where you can have some fun. And that's what we do over here. We have fun. Then you have the people that were somewhat like myself, an urchin. I'm kind of like, I kind of like fit, you know, urchin, whale, and shark. You know, once I understand, I care about people, man, then I want to get it done. I go pretty much urchin, shark, halfway, then whale, and then, you know, I really don't care about having fun. I just like getting the job done. But we can have a fun. I like laughing and talking and giggling a little bit. But anyway, they need to know all the facts. So how do you deal with an urchin? Well, the way that you deal with an urchin, you have to answer the information. That's the only way. Because if you have an urchin and you don't share with them what they want to know, they're going to cut you off. They're going to hang the phone up. And then they're going to go find someone else that would just simply answer the question. I mean, I had someone call me yesterday. And they said, I want to know when is the Freedom Freedom Club show, right? Our company is coming out with a show called the Freedom Club Show. And I said, well, that isn't happening yet. But what we are doing, we're having a freedom rally call, a call later on today. And, you know, what is it that you want to know about? And then the lady cut me off. She said, I don't want to know that. I just want to know this. And then guess what I did? I stopped trying to share the business because she called about the business, right? She called about the business. So after I answered her question, there's no Freedom Club show right now. Then I tried to transition into giving her information about the business. She cut me off and said, no, I don't want to know that. I don't want to hear this. This is all I want to know. So guess what I did? I gave her what she wanted to know. I gave her what she wanted to know. And I got her to 2 webinars on yesterday, right? And then I followed up with her last night after that. But what did I do? She was an urchin. She had already been looking for weeks at our information. And then she decided to pick up the phone and make the phone call. I did not destroy the relationship by trying to get her to take a look at the money or be motivated by helping other people or having fun. I didn't do that. I respected who she was. And I gave her what she wanted to know. And then she showed up on both webinars on yesterday. Followed up with her last night, and she's going to be joining our business, joining our company, okay? Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you want to be able to serve. Focus on serving. When someone calls you, or when someone pick up your flyer and they give you a call, or you're meeting someone in the neighborhood or someone at the grocery store or whatever it is, you must be willing to serve them, opposed to, I termed this statement a while back, and you've heard it before as well. Don't look at people like they're a piece of meat. In other words, man, I see dollar signs on the top of this person's head. No. You must be willing to serve and give back to people, okay? Then the universe is going to say, hey, since you have a pure heart of service, then I'll give back to you. As we get ready to wind down, negatives up, positives down. What does that mean? If you are in network marketing, and if you're frustrated about something about the business, the company, your group, your whatever it is, it does not matter. There will always be upsets, trouble, and turmoil in any business. In every family structure, everything is not 100% roses. Okay? So there's going to be negative up. That means you send all negative things up. In other words, positive thing goes down. So in other words, if I'm building a group, if I'm building a team of networking professionals, I do not want to tell them negative stuff if they're my downline. Why? Because I will be hurting myself. I'll be hurting my own pocket. Because if I plant a negative seed, remember we talked about the seeds of positive and negative earlier, right? If I plant a negative seed, it's just like weeds growing in that cotton field. Negative seeds in my downline from me will be like weeds growing in that cotton field, choking out my cotton or choking out my vegetation, right? Choking it out is killing it. So I want to go negative up. In other words, I have an upline and or the company whose job is to make sure that I'm being taken care of. To make sure that I'm calm, I'm staying in the game, that things are being taken care of. So if something goes wrong, and it will go wrong, you want to send all your negative stuff up, but make sure you keep everything positive down. Well, what if your downline hears about something negative? Then you want to say, well, you know what, Bob, that's true, but this is how we're going to view that. We're going to keep our heads up. We're going to stay focused on the goal. We're going to stay focused on the goal. You want to stay positive with your downline, because why are they asking you that? They're asking you that information because they want to be assured that everything is good. Are you with me? They want to be assured. So you want to make sure that your downline is assured of things that are happening. Okay? So keep the positive things down and the negative things going up. Now, the way that you want to see yourself, long-term goal, we talked about this earlier. You want to see yourself at the top. Start looking and thinking like you are at the top. I know when we first started with our company that we're with right now, we came on board with the company, and a lot of times this is difficult. It's difficult to say something about yourself because people may think you're being boastful and you're prideful. And I'm saying this out of a humble way, only using myself as an example. And I'll use Mr. Brandon Ivy also as an example. He's my sponsor. When we started in Vitel and the corporate calls were going on, right? And people, sometimes corporate would ask, okay, who wants to do the call, or who can do the call, or they would just ask certain people to do the call. Brandon would step up and do corporate calls. I would step up and do corporate calls. But when we first started, I would get on the conference line. You know, we in it, 2 days, a week. I would get on the conference line and there's no moderator, right? Or the host or the SVP is late coming on the line. Late meaning, not late when the time's supposed to start. I like dialing in at least 5 minutes early, right? So if the host is not 5 minutes early, I consider that late, right? So when I would dial into the line like 5 minutes early or whatever, and I just hear the line being dead, in the company ownership, hasn't given me authority to do anything, right? No authority at all. I had no authority. I get on the line. I'm in the business a couple of days or a week. I get on the line. The call is dead, meaning that there's no moderator. And people are logging in this dead air. You do not want your conference line to be dead. You do not want your dial-in line to be dead, because it may be a heavy hitter. It may be a person of influence that may be listening in on that day. They don't want to listen to a dead call. I already know, okay, this is not good. I immediately step up and say, hey, this is Dr. Michael Smith Sr. Hey, please announce yourself. Tell us where you're calling in from. Blase, blase. Hey, this is our corporate call. Then all of a sudden, the SVP comes on the call. Michael, is that you? Yes, this is me. So our presenter is here right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm returning the call over to so-and-so and so-and-so. And then they say, well, Michael, thank you for taking the call. Appreciate it. Guys, I did that every single time for probably a week before they started sending out a schedule for us to get on. I took control because I said, this is my company. This is my company. I'm taking control. Not control out of arrogance, but control out of how I see myself and how I see the company. And watch this. This is the most important part. How I wanted others to see the company. I wanted them to see us when they dialed in. I wanted them to see us as professionals. I wanted them to see us as excited. I wanted them to see us as we know what we got going on. We have the best thing since the slice of bread. We have the best thing since the invention of the wheel. We have it going on. I wanted them to feel that out of me. I did not want them dialing into a call. Well, is anybody going to do the call? Hearing words like this. Anybody doing the call? Where's this? Where's the SVP? Where's the presenter? No. I would get on the line. I'll take control of the call. And I would start talking. I'll start saying something about anything and everything about our company until the presenter comes on. And guess what? If they wouldn't have shown up, guess who would have been doing the call? I would have. Leaders lead by example. See yourself as what you want and desire to be. Perception becomes your own reality. Because I perceive myself, watch this. That's a fine line, guys. I want you to hear me clearly. Please receive this. There's a fine line between arrogance and successful positive thinking for success. You cannot cross the line of arrogance because people will feel it. You must continue to have a pure heart, a transparency of why you're doing a certain thing. And when that clear path of transparency is there, then people will feel it. They'll receive it. They'll hear it. Are you with me? And when you do that out of passion, out of zeal, there's no way that you will lose. But this is the trick. Watch this. This is the trick of the brain. A lot of people, especially when they first start in a home-based business, they start out with that. But then 2 weeks passes, and then all of a sudden you get them on a call. I'm doing okay. All of a sudden the zeal is gone. All of a sudden they stop seeing themselves as an RVP. Well, what happened? Well, Bob told me they didn't want to do the business. Well, nothing's happening in 2 weeks, and I don't know if I can be confident. Well, nothing was happening 2 weeks before. 2 other people told you, what happened? No, your thought pattern and your perceptions of yourself changed. Don't change the way you think of yourself. as an RVP, as a person that's reaching out, being who you want to be, being who you desire to be. Take control of the situation. Take control of the situation. You know, and I wasn't the only person that did that. A lot of times we would get on this call, and lately, the last 2 months or so, Lou Smith was doing the same thing that I did in the beginning, almost a year ago. Ladies and gentlemen, you put it out there in the universe, someone else is going to grab it, take hold to it, and they're going to run with it. You must see yourselves as you want to be seen, as you want to be known. Well, hey, I'm not an RVP yet in paper, on paper, but in thought, in reality of myself, I am already there. So work your way toward that process of growth of information, okay? Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I truly thank you all for being with us today and taking time out of your busy schedule. I wasn't expecting it to go so long, but sometimes, you know, things roll. We want to make and help you be successful. Again, this is just our slide. This is a generic presentation. We're not trying to recruit you into Vitel if you're with another company. We just want to be able to share some powerful information with you with mindset. With mindset. Way to go, Rich. Way to go, Rich. With mindset. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, get on top of your mountain. Stretch your arms out wide. And guess what I'm doing right now? Watch this, guys. I'm going to give you guys some spiritual information. When I began to say that, I didn't even think to do it. My hands automatically went up. I'm sitting in my chair right now in front of my computer. When that thought hit my brain, my hand went stretched out wide like that lady is standing on that mountain. It went stretched out wide like that lady standing on a mountain. I didn't think to do it. It just came out of me to do it. Why? Because I want that power. I want that influence. I want that motivation. I want that inspiration. I want it to come back to me, but not only come back to me, I want to give it out. But before I can give it, I must receive it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been giving to you. Receive it. Then position yourself to give it back. Hey, this has been Dr. Michael Smith Sr., and I must admit, I am a national sales executive with the corporation by the name of Vitel. We make it possible. Hey, guys, make it real, make it big, make it good, make life worth living because it is, and live it after your purpose choice. God bless you. God keep you. You all have a great day. Bye-bye now.